Hey everyone, just wanted to follow up with a quick video from yesterday's IPO this week where we talked about 4 companies including FIGS that are looking to go public this week. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because it also follows up another video I did about 2 months ago. Actually it was 2 months ago, it was March 26th, where we first talked about Robinhood starting to offer IPO shares. And FIGS will be the first company that will do that on the platform. So I just want to talk a little bit about that. So this is an article from Reuters, and it talks a little bit how FIGS will be offered on Robinhood. So what it's saying is about 1% of the 22.5 million shares, and quick math in my head says that's about 225,000 shares, will be reserved for retail investors for people on Robinhood. So this will make FIGS the first IPO to be included on the trading platform. So in IPO this week, we talked about some of the background on FIGS. So if you're interested, because now you want to potentially get in on these shares at the IPO price, definitely check out that video. But a couple of things to note is that the FIGS IPO is expected to price between $16 and $19. And trading is expected to begin on Thursday. And then, of course, the stock would trade under the ticker symbol FIGS or FIGS. So let's take a quick look at what Robinhood has said about their IPO access. So this is right from their blog. It says Robinhood is democratizing IPOs. IPO Access is here. And that's what they're calling their product, IPO Access. And I think the most important part of what they're offering is it says with IPO Access, you can now participate in upcoming IPOs with no account minimums. So this is interesting because I get a lot of questions from viewers on how you can participate in IPOs. And the biggest issue tends to be that while there's an opportunity to get in some IPOs with certain brokerages, the issue is the accounts that have the most money in them tend to get first dibs. So unless you're at the top of their account holders, more than likely, at least for the really popular IPOs, you're probably going to not be able to get any shares. You can request them, but you're probably not going to get any. So the difference here with IPO Access from Robinhood is it's saying that you can now participate in upcoming IPOs with no account minimum. So theoretically, this should be done by random. So if you have a smaller account, you still have the opportunity to get in some IPOs. So just scrolling through, it talks a little bit about how it works. It just says, discover upcoming IPOs from a list of participating companies that plan to distribute shares to Robinhood. Now, one of the things that it's been noted is that Robinhood is not acting as an underwriter for any of these companies. And that is important because a lot of the companies or the brokerages that can offer you shares if you're a member of that brokerage tend to be underwriters, and that is another way to get some access. So this goes into what we said from the Reuters article where it said that 1% of all the shares from FIGS are being offered to Robinhood Retail Investors, and that Robinhood is not an underwriter of that offering. So then after you review the list of the companies that they're offering for the IPO access, you can then request to buy shares of the companies at their initial listing price range. So right now for FIGS, we said between $16 and $19. And then once the final price is set, because as you guys know, the actual price could be less than that, it could be more than that, or could fall in that range, which is probably the most common, but last year we saw some companies go well over that expected range. Once that happens, you'll be able to review, edit, or cancel your request, again, before the shares are allocated to Robinhood customers. After that, you watch and wait, because as it says, IPO shares can be very limited, but the key here, and again, I think this makes this an attractive offering, is that all Robinhood customers are supposedly going to get an equal shot at shares regardless of the order size or the account value. So as of the blog, it says it's rolling out gradually to all customers over the coming weeks. And one thing we had talked about in that video 2 months ago was that this was in preparation for Robinhood's own IPO, which we know that they've filed confidentially. So this is probably the next step before their filing goes public. And one of the things we talked about going back into last year was that Robinhood was planning to offer their own customers into their IPO or to their offering. So this might be that starting point of IPO access. We'll see how this works. But by the time they do their own IPO, the expectation has always been that Robinhood will offer some of its shares to its own customers. So anyways, so over the past year, we saw IPOs. They definitely boomed last year. But over the last couple of months, the interest has definitely declined. And you can see that through some of the prices that these new IPOs are trading at. I've also noticed that just from the overall views for the IPO videos, they're down. And as I think about our community and the viewers of the channel, being retail investors, that been a lot of frustrations where you get into an IPO quickly and then the price drops, and yet it's still at a higher level than where it priced at the IPO. So you missed out on those initial gains where the institutional investors got it. They got the IPO price, which maybe was, let's say, $50. The stock doesn't start trading until the next day, and then it opens like $75. It goes up, but then it comes down maybe back to $60. So you've potentially lost money, whereas the institutional investor still made money. So I think that that's been frustrating to a lot of you guys out there. I'm sensing more of that, even in the comments. So this might be an opportunity to pick and choose the companies you're interested in. No guarantee you'll get in on the IPO, but you can potentially get the same shares at the same price as the big banks. So they're basically saying, we're willing to pay this price. That gives you a little bit more justification on the price you're willing to pay, versus when it comes out hot and you're paying twice what they paid. And then you got to wonder, will you hold on to those gains? So I think it's an interesting development, and I wanted to get this video out particularly because FIGS will be that first company, and again, we talked about them IPO this week, and when I do an IPO this week, I do a lot of it in advance so that I'm not killing myself over the weekend, especially time's been a little bit tighter for me as of late, but I wanted you guys to have this information before that you started to trade. So hopefully this is helpful to you, and in anyways, if you do get into it, would love to hear if you were able to get shares at the IPO price from Robinhood. Really interested to hear if anybody had any success. So with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.